Hey folks, how's it going? Dr. Spin. In my quest to find the best albums for 2021, I have been working through this big elimination bracket, and I thought that I would share some of these brackets, these competitions with you. Of course, many of these albums are ones that I think are really great. A lot of the albums I listen to, I vet very carefully. So a lot of these decisions are very complicated and they're very tough. And especially as I go further along, like this one, for example, this week. I'm looking at the Hawkins Silence is a Bomb in relationship to Wolfgang Van Halen's first solo album release, Mammoth WVH. Now, the Hawkins Silence is a Bomb has gotten a lot of lumps for me in the last year or so because I actually got this album in the middle of 2020. I bought it that summer, and the hard copy just never came in. It took forever for it to get in. COVID had slowed down all the mailing of things. And so finally, last November, I put the electronic copy in rotation. And anytime you have a November album, it's hard to work it in to see if it fits. So I kind of gave myself a pass to allow this one to bleed over into the next year. I was kind of thinking about it. And then finally, almost 9 months later, the hard copy showed up in February. So I decided to go ahead and put the Hawkins in rotation. This is a great disc full of really high energy, hard rock tunes. It's this interesting cross between like maybe the White Stripes, the Foo Fighters, maybe even a little bit of the punk songwriting energy of Green Day. But I gotta say that big kudos go off to the lead singer here. He's one of the few guys I have heard of recently that can really almost touch what Freddie Mercury used to do. He's comparable to that kind of singing. Super charismatic, very colorful singing, good melodic sense, and very energetic approach. But when I put it into rotation versus Wolfgang Van Halen's solo release, this Mammoth WVH album, I gotta say that they're equal in many ways. The songwriting on both of them is both very, very great and both really infectious. I will say that after you listen to both these albums back to back, you're probably going to be humming the songs off of this Wolfgang Van Halen album a lot more readily. They're super catchy, extremely well-written songs with lots of great melodic material, great riffs. If you're concerned about the future of hard rock, I really think that Wolfgang Van Halen's work here is really poised to carry the torch in this style. But along with that, you got to keep in mind that this is Wolfgang Van Halen, Van Halen's son, and you got to give him a lot of respect for making this album not really in the vein of hard rock that his father forged. He could have just as easily tried to walk in his father's shoes, but has worked very hard, I think, to distinguish himself and define his own identity. And I got a lot of respect for that. Also got a lot of respect for the fact that he played all the instruments and sang all of the vocals on this album, wrote all the songs. In some ways, I would almost argue that this album is kind of more consistent than probably about 85% of Van Halen albums as far as the songwriting goes. And you also have to give Wolfgang Van Halen a little bit of respect for beating off the hordes of toxic fans. He's stood his ground against folks that are willing to tear him down because of his last name. By doing nothing more than being himself. So in that regard, I've got a lot of respect for him as an artist and a musician and a guy who's got a legacy to uphold and is doing it in his own way. So as much as I like Silence is a Bomb, as much as I suggest people who like hard rock check it out, I got to go with Wolfgang Van Halen's Mammoth WVH. So check it out. At the end of this video, I'm going to have links to songs from both of these artists, as well as maybe some links to places where I've talked about them previously. So please check those out. If you want to know what's going to be happening next, please like and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.